Angry MGTOW here. And today we're talking about why white women don't understand what female privilege is. This is a response to Roaming Millennial. Oh, joy. So, Roaming got together recently with ABitOfBritt and Kisara Vera, two women who I've actually talked about on this channel before and explained the reasons why they really are feminist and, call them out for the fact that they don't truly understand what female privilege is. When I spoke to Roaming Millennial previously, I talked about the fact that she doesn't call out female privilege. And that's something that she and other anti-feminist YouTubers don't talk about. And that the fact that they need to give up some of those privileges to if they actually want to achieve what they call true equality, because they don't talk about them. Well, lo and behold, she actually made a video on female privilege, and with her and other moderately prominent anti-feminists, no shoe on heads or Jacqueline Glenn's, but still women who are beginning to make a bit of a dent in the anti-feminist world on YouTube, talking about female privilege. Now let's see, do they actually take it home? Do they really figure out what female privilege is in society and how it hurts men, how it affects men? Let's see what they have to say. Let's give these young ladies the benefit of the doubt. And if they fuck up, you have to be sure I'm going to call them out on their bullshit. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. Alright, so there's my wafu. Guys, I am not in love with this girl, so stop joking about it. Now, based mama, my gosh. Yes. That is one MILF that, unbelievable. She is a work of art. But Roaming, come on. She's 10 years too young for me.
Hey, this is Roaming Millennial.
Hey, I'm Brittany, or ABitOfBritt on YouTube.
I want to talk about... So I just want to talk a little bit about ABitOfBritt's eyes. Doesn't she look kind of... I'm not trying to insult her, but there's something that just doesn't look right about her. There's something that looks wrong with those eyes. I wouldn't feel safe falling asleep next to her. I'm just putting that out there. I wouldn't feel safe.
Hi, I'm Kisara Vera.
Okay, Kisara Vera, she looks... Something is off with her. She either gained weight, she's retaining water, maybe she's on her period, I don't know. Something is totally off. Her face looks fatter. I don't know. She looks really pale in this video too. It could just be the lighting. Again, something looks totally off with Kisara Vera in this picture, in this clip. But because I made a video about her, and again, her face looks way off. Don't know what it is, but yeah, okay.
I make political commentary videos here on YouTube, and you can find a link to my channel in the description box down below. And in this video, we would like to check our female privilege.
Really, Roaming? You're going to check your female privilege? You're going to have a heart-to-heart with us, the viewer, and tell us exactly what your female privilege is, or what your so-called approved female privilege is? So you're going to woman speak to us, basically, right? Okay, let's hear you. Go ahead. Woman speak, Roaming. Woman speak.
Between the Women's March and the upcoming women's strike, because nothing tells employers they should hire more females like large groups of women refusing to work.
So I didn't mean to say woman speak. I meant to say woman-splaining. She's woman-splaining. Here's the thing. No one really cares what women do. It's essentially when women make the lives of men more difficult. We don't really give a damn if women are running outside naked with hula hoops on, while hula hooping. We don't care. Men really don't care what women do unless women start getting in our way, start making our lives more difficult, start blaming us for every problem in the world, which is something that's been predominantly happening.
It seems like third wave feminists are obsessed with the idea that gender inequality still exists in the West. And you know what? In a sense, they're right. Men and women are seen as equal in the eyes of the law, but culturally, yeah, there are still a lot of ways that the sexes are treated differently.
You know, it's kind of frustrating because in this sense she's talking about, yeah, there are different ways that the sexes are treated differently. And the problem is that young women like Roaming don't seem to understand that if the genders were treated absolutely equally, no one would be happy. For example, essentially saying we're going to treat men and women exactly the same, you're interchangeable with each other, which just does not work. It tears down society. For one, you know, saying that you want to draft women and put women in the front line, there are serious ramifications for doing that. For example, when a man should be protecting his own ass, he'll be protecting a female or doing stupid things out there. You know, again, he's not going to be using his head rationally. He's going to immediately have that protector instinct, especially if he's out there on the front lines with a woman. Plus, there's also the thing where a lot of guys, you know, women go overseas to Iraq, and they're constantly sending back another unit, sending them back to America because they're getting pregnant over there. I mean, they find a guy and they quickly get pregnant, and it's something that constantly does happen in the military. It happens in the military. It happens in the Navy. It's a continuous thing with women just serving in all branches of the military, be it the Army, be it the Navy. I don't really hear too much about it in the Air Force, but those guys are gay, so you know it's give or take. But still, when it comes down to it, you know, women don't seem to understand that we are not interchangeable, and I think maybe Roaming means the best, but I just don't think she understands that equality, true equality between men and women, is not a good thing. It is not a positive thing. People would not be happy. Women would not be happy with true equality. Maybe Roaming is a very strong and tough woman who can go out there and doesn't need a man, and she can survive on her own. And again, the average woman doesn't want that. The average woman, her internal instincts is to have children at some point in her life. Her internal instincts are to be taken care of. So this whole notion that men and women are striving for equality and sure we treat men and women differently, again, that's men. This is a part of the courtship for men. Men use resources, being humor, all types of different things to court women. Women use their looks, their affection, different traits, feminine traits, typically to attract men. That's at least how it historically was. But if you're trying to break down things, the relationship between the men and women, or rather trying to say we're going to keep on working towards true equality, then it's like, it sounds like really what she's doing is still, in many ways it sounds like Roaming is still pushing for what feminists say they really want, which they don't, but true gender equality where men and women are completely equal and they're interchangeable. And I think it's ridiculous to think that, and men and women will never be equal. If you ever gave women equal treatment to men, there would be a shitstorm. They would cry and scream in the streets. If you reduced Medicaid, female benefits, which a lot of that stuff is going to happen soon anyway, you know, women losing benefits, entitlements, exclusive programs for women, they're going to throw a shitstorm, because women typically want more than men. They want more services than men. They want more health services. They want more social services. They want more programs specifically designed for them. That's how women are. Women want equity, not equality. And you know, I'm looking at Roaming and I'm trying to it's so hard, because she is trying to say this is how women are. I say give them exactly true equality. And I don't know if she understands what true equality actually looks like, what true equality actually feels like. I don't think she could handle true equality. You know, I did an interview with Based Mom earlier today where we had a great time. And you know, I talked about the cunty things she's done in her life. I was just really myself, and I didn't hold anything back. But when I, spoke to Roaming, I had to use kid gloves with her, where I had to be really careful the things I said. I had to create a safe space because I didn't want to upset her. I wanted so that she would, again. And I'm not calling her a bad person. But I really had to. I really felt terrible. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I was really. At one hand, I didn't want to be angry and just yell at her because that's not me. But on the other hand, I just felt like I was using kid gloves with her. And I feel like she has like a different view of the world where she thinks that, we can all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Or I just don't know. I remember when I brought up the fact that men and women are very divided today, and she said she doesn't believe men and women are very divided because she gets along with most of her male family members or the men in her life. And I'm thinking, if you don't understand, if you can't see how divided men and women are, then there's no point in me trying to explain that to you. That's something that you get through experience. Again, she's young. I think she said she was 22 years old. But it's just frustrating trying to get it through to a woman that things are pretty fucked up right now between men and women. And if she looks on her channel and she sees a lot of guys saying, "You're awesome, Roaming. You're great. These are guys these are your fans. These are your subscribers. So naturally, they're going to, be receptive to you. You're going to have a lot of guys who think you're hot. You're going to have a lot of guys who like your content. It doesn't matter. These are people who have already been pre-screened. You shouldn't be looking at the people that like you. You should be looking at the people that don't."
And while feminists are very quick to point out things that disadvantage women, we don't often hear a lot about the ways that women and not men are privileged. But if we really are trying for gender equality, surely those should be things we focus on too, right? So here's us taking a few minutes to check our female privilege and address ways that we, as women, have it easier.
I can walk down the street at night and pass by other people and they won't think anything of me, whereas if a man were to walk down the street at night, he is automatically deemed a threat.
So here Kisara Vera is basically saying, yeah, women aren't viewed as predators while men are viewed as predators. But how did that come about? Where does that come from? That comes from, one, the competitive nature of men. Two, it comes from women essentially saying that they need to be protected, pampered, and taken care of. She's talking about female privilege in the sense of how society views women, but what are you actually doing to change that? For example, here you are, you're talking about it, but it doesn't actually change it. What, are you saying that we need to change the laws? We need to, there are no suggestions so far in this video of how you go about dealing with any of these things. You're talking about it on YouTube, and I get it. The first step is towards dialogue, but you're not actually saying we need to change the laws. You're not talking about any specific thing, any specific steps to address any of these issues. You're just basically saying, oh, that's just so unfair. It's just so unfair. We don't need women agreeing with us that the world is fucked up for men. How the fuck are we going to fix the problem? And the answer is, we're not. We're not trying to fix the problem. We just have a group of women that are basically saying, yeah, there's a problem. Sucks to be you. But hey, we're cool too, because we're at least acknowledging that you guys are getting fucked up the ass.
In the vast majority of countries, I don't ever have to worry about being drafted. And in the US at least, currently my gender only comprises around 3% of combat deaths.
I can let myself go and get extremely fat and demand people call me beautiful for it.
I can decide to be a stay-at-home mom and not be considered a loser.
In a custody hearing, I can be around 80% sure that I'll get to keep my children.
I can approach someone that I'm interested in and ask them out without being deemed creepy.
It is a major social taboo for someone of the opposite gender to hit me, even if they're just doing it in self-defense. If I slap a guy, I'm a strong, independent woman who don't take none of that business.
No, Roaming, no. Please don't try to emulate a black woman. No, you're already mixed as it is, alright? You got the white and the Asian and maybe something else in there. No. Don't stop watching Mangina Steve Harvey. No.
Or at least that's how a lot of society will see it. But if a guy slaps me, that's assault. Now, I don't think anybody should be hitting anyone else, but those are clearly unequal pretenses.
I can sleep around and pretend it's empowering, meanwhile complain about being slut-shamed, then turn around and make false rape allegations against a man that can cost him his career and ruin his entire reputation.
So, with ABitOfBritt, I could have sworn she's the same person who said that she went to like university, and in university they were basically talking about how shitty men were, and she explained, look, she was saying that look to your left, look to your right, one of these women will be raped, and she was in a fraternity. Don't quote me, but I could have sworn she talked about some of this. Like, there's a bit of hypocrisy in here. There is a bit of hypocrisy in here because once upon a time, this girl had a lot of feminist ideals. So it's like really interesting hearing her talk about this crap and basically acting like, she's so exclusive from it when she was actually pushing this stuff forward. She was actually pushing feminism forward, and now she is like, she's trying to campaign against it and call out female privilege. And yet again, I don't hear any solutions. See, that's the thing that separates men and women. Women complain about shit, men fix it. Women, they're just here complaining. They're complaining about these things, but nothing is getting done. It's only going to keep getting worse until everything is decimated in society, which is the direction we are quickly moving forward towards.
Can cost him his career and ruin his entire reputation.
In any sort of emergency situation, I'm going to be rescued first over all of the men.
At liberal colleges, I'm not treated like a would-be rapist just because of my gender. That's a pretty great one, actually. I think it's my favorite.
I can walk into any bar and expect free drinks.
I can go out and take a man home with me, and no matter how drunk he is, I am not considered a rapist.
I'm not expected to know anything about competitive sports or mechanics, which is great because I really have no interest or intent to learn.
It's funny because she says, I'm not expected to know anything about competitive sports or mechanics. But in reality, when you think about it, women, it's like they expect so much from men. They expect so much from men that are expected to essentially change tires, do the laborious jobs, and then women are shown on television being the strong woman who can change her own tire, who can do all of these things. So she says that she's not expected to do any of them, but society's notion is that women are simply capable of doing these things anyway, when in reality they're not capable of doing these things.
I can walk around in vagina hats and costumes and call it activism. But if a man walked around in a penis costume, he'd be a sexual predator.
I have never in my life been told to man up or take it like a man.
So it's funny, man up or take it like a man. I'm not saying that in every situation a man needs to learn how to man up, but there's a reason why, even in the military, they traditionally conditioned men to be stronger, to push through the pain, to overcome it. Life is never going to be easy for a man. No man is going to make it through this world with at least a couple of scars. And a lot of guys will end up pretty damn scarred emotionally, physically, but they have to walk through that fire. Every man goes through that in life. And it's something that women don't realize. So the funny thing is we don't get the privilege of being able to say, cry on someone's shoulder. And it doesn't work for us like that. We have to solve problems. We have to learn how to be strong. We have to learn how to stand up for ourselves so that we can stand up for others. That's the reason why we have to learn how to be strong and effective men. So this whole thing about manning up, essentially this sounds like more feminist drivel. That's the same exact thing that feminists have said. Men having to man up. Again, there are times when we have to stand up. We do have to man up, because if we don't, the women are not going to do it. We have to take the lead. We have to fight the terrorists. We have to police the streets. We actually do have to push through the pain. We have to actually overcome our fear. Okay? That's one of the important things of being a man. So it doesn't come down to, why is it women don't have to women up and men have to man up? Guess what? Because someone has to do it. Someone has to do the dirty work. Someone has to fight the battle. Someone has to push forward through it all. And that's always going to be the man. That's how life is. So when you say man up, men have to man up, and that's not fair. Life is not fair. Nothing is fair for men in life. Okay? Men fight the battle so that women get to survive. We go out there, we do the difficult job so women and children can live and eat and prosper, so that we have societies, so that we can maintain our countries. So this notion of manning up is going to go away. No, more men need to learn how to be men and overcome their pain, overcome their fear, overcome the things that are holding them back, because we don't have the chance to cry. We live in a difficult world. Food does not simply appear before us. It has to be processed by someone. Food, you don't get meat at the supermarket. It just doesn't happen like that. That meat has to be slaughtered. It has to be slaughtered, processed, and then brought to the supermarket, driven there by a man in a truck. And guess what? If there's no food delivered within 48 hours, most groceries will run out of food. And people only have about 48 hours worth of food at any given time. The average person only has around 48 hours worth of food at any given time. So people need to understand, we have to man up. We have to push forward, because no one is going to stand up for us. No one is going to give us a hug and help us out financially when shit hits the fan for us. So this notion that, men are being discriminated against because they're told they have to man up. We do. Because if we don't push ourselves to be the best we can be, to stand up for ourselves, to survive, then we will die. We are not women. Men are not women. We have to fight for everything.
If I were an abuse victim, as a woman, there are shelters that exist specifically to help me. If I were a man, people would actually be demonized just for trying to help me, and a lot of people would trivialize my experience because they just don't believe that men can be seriously hurt by women.
If I was ever raped, it would be taken seriously.
I can waste all my money on superficial things like clothing, hair, nails, makeup.
Okay, here's something. If you were raped, it would be taken seriously, but if a man was raped, it wouldn't. Here's one of the biggest problems with rape. False rape allegations, okay? Touching a woman, unwanted touch is not rape. Unwanted touch is not rape. Rape is intercourse. Unwanted intercourse. That is rape. Unwanted touch is not rape. Speaking to a woman and her not enjoying the conversation, feeling harassed by it, sexually harassed by it, that is not rape. Okay? So we first need to classify the difference between rape and non-rape. And we need to also come to the conclusion that, men are not so as picky as women are when it comes down to sex. A man can have sex with a woman, sometimes with a woman he does not even like very much. Sometimes it can be at her coaxing. A lot of guys have sex when they really don't want to, but the woman just keeps pushing them and pushing them and pushing them until they end up fucking her, so she'll just stop. A lot of guys give women pity fucks. It does happen. It happens a whole lot. There's a lot of guys who have sex with women because they feel pressured. It happens all the time. That's still not rape, because he chose to have it. Even though he felt pressured to have sex, he still chose to have sex. And a woman who feels pressured to have sex, she still chose to have sex. She still made the decision to have sex. So we really need to clear up the notion of what rape is and what rape isn't. Well, before when we start talking about female privilege, because women have this so-called privilege where just about anything they equate to being rape is rape.
beauty products and complain about being poor because of the pink tax or the cost of being a woman, while it's just really my own poor money management.
If I tried hard enough, I could probably cry my way out of a speeding ticket.
It's socially acceptable for me to walk around with sparkly pink eyelids. As someone who thoroughly enjoys pink sparkles, I see this as a huge benefit.
I was praised and rewarded for my female behavior in school, whereas the boys were punished for boyish behavior in school.
How do we fix this? I hear all these problems, but where the fuck are the solutions? Do we go and advocate to schools and say boys are being unfairly treated? Do we talk about the fact that men are unfairly accused of rape in cases where a woman says that she was raped and there's not enough evidence, but hey, the fact that it's a university and yes means yes says you should take the woman's word at face value when there's not enough evidence? Are we talking about addressing any of that? We're not talking about solving the problems. We have yet another group of women that are basically laying out grievances of men that they find relatively acceptable to discuss, when in reality there's no solutions. Does this make you guys look like a group of Nawalts? Because you're not Nawalts.
I would say the biggest example of female privilege is women believing that sexism only applies to women.
How about we stop talking about sexism so much and start focusing on the issues that exist in society? Because it seems like you guys continuously want to police things. You're not talking about people just getting along with each other. Stop being so fucking sensitive. No, what this sounds like is women want, they're basically saying we need to share the victimization. Men can be victims too. We need to all be able to cry together. Society needs to feel as bad for men as it does for women. No, we need to stop with the social political bullshit and stop feeling so sorry for ourselves and start acting like fucking adults.
So that's it for this video, but what other female privileges can you guys think of? And are the different ways men and women are treated the result of gender inequality or intrinsic differences between the sexes? As always, let me know in the comments, and if you aren't subscribed to Britt or Kisara yet, be sure to check out their awesome channels. The links will be in the description. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to my patrons who support this channel and make these videos possible. If you like this, please subscribe to see more. I post new videos every Monday. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
So there was the video. And what the fuck did I just watch? Someone says, hey Angry, is this video on YouTube? We should report it as abusive. Guys, do not go and try to get the video pulled offline. Don't do it. I'm not going to tell you guys to go and do that, because that's social justice warrior bullshit. Okay? Just because I don't like the video or agree with some of the things that were said in the video, or I think that it doesn't really address the major privileges, like the big discrepancies between men and women, doesn't mean that we should go and try to attack her video just for the simple fact of that. You know, Vulturehead says, look at all the simps donating to her. That's something that I want to point out. I look at her Patreon, and she has almost $2,000, if not more now, from guys donating to her on Patreon. And I think about the fact that I make something like over 90 videos a month, and I don't have anything close to that. And it's not because I'm a much smaller YouTuber than her. It's simply for the fact that she has, there is such a thing as pussy privilege. Just the fact that she is a woman, just the fact that men see her, they think she's attractive, they're going to go out of their way to help her, to be more receptive to her, just because of the way she looks. I mean, it's the honest truth. It's the honest truth. She does not have a lot of videos on her channel, but look at the amount of donations she receives on Patreon. And to say that you can't equate that to her looks and to the fact that men are sexually attracted to her and they are donating to her because of the way she looks, because she's a woman, because they see her sexual value, because many of them are imagining a relationship with her. You cannot tell me any of that. You can't tell me any of that. There's so much fucking hypocrisy in this. You know, Bible Controversy says they're trying to get a date through donations. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is one thing that I don't like. You know, this is the thing that I truly, it annoys me. It really, really annoys me with young women like Roaming, as people in the younger millennials. Like, for example, when I talked to Based Mama earlier, you know, if you look at her profile, she talks about her tits on there. She's like, donate so I can keep on, you know, putting my tits out there, whatever. She's honest. She knows what the boys want. She knows that guys are staring at her tits. She knows guys are staring at her tits. She's honest about it. That's her asset. She puts them out there. And I respect her for that, because she is honest about that. But when it comes to someone like Roaming Millennial, she acts like, does she work? I get it. She works. She puts in the work on her videos. She edits. But at the end of the day, she is getting, the female privilege is receiving the help of men, financial contributions, just on the basis of being a woman. Just on the basis of being a woman. That's why I say that you can never ever have a complete balance in society, because women will always have special benefits. There will always be differences between the genders, because people will always have preferences. Men will always view women differently. Women will always view men differently. We are not the same. We are not interchangeable. We don't think the same. It makes my head hurt. It does make my head hurt. Trying to like rationalize this, try to explain it, try to, you know, and like I said, when it comes to Roaming, I'm not trying to disrespect her at all, but sometimes it does feel like I'm trying to like talk to a kid, a child, that, you know, if you raise your voice, they're going to run to a safe space or go find an adult. And it's annoying, because this entire video does not offer a single fucking solution on how to solve the fucking problem. It's just a group of women talking about, men are victims too, men suffer too. How the fuck do we fix the problem? How about we start drafting women? I don't think I actually heard her suggest we need to draft women. She didn't talk about any fucking solutions. All she talked about was men are being held to these standards of you need to man up. That's not fair. We're not fucking women. You know, some of you guys are saying, saying angry, you're totally in love with this girl. Do I sound like I'm fucking in love with her? I'm annoyed I am so annoyed I am just so annoyed. I am annoyed because, like, this is the juvenile shit that we keep seeing from these young women. Like, they just don't fucking get it. They don't get it! And I'm not going to sit here and explain it to them. Because it's like, they just can't see it. They live in a completely different world. Someone says I could defeat her now in an intellectual debate. But here's the funny thing. If you try to attack her in an intellectual debate, she'll simply start to ramble. She'll deflect, she'll reflect, and then she'll eject. Okay? Notice what I said. She reflects, deflects, then ejects. That's what she's done in my past 2 videos. Reflect, deflect, eject. That is her way of arguing. So it's pointless to actually try to say that I'm going to have a rational, coherent conversation with her. I mean, I think that our last video, it went better, but I was literally babying her. I couldn't talk to her outright like an adult. I could not speak the way I'm speaking right now. And honestly, I'm not trying to attack her. And I'm not telling. And guys, don't go attack her channel after this. Don't go attacking her channel. Don't attack any of these girls' channels. It doesn't make any difference, you know, because they're just gonna say that, oh, the mean old MGTOWs, you guys came after us. Weep, weep, weep. Woe is me. You guys are so close-minded. At the end of the day, they are children. They are children. They need their safe space. Harris says that Roaming wants to be ravaged by you. Honestly, I'm not interested in her. She has, like, you know, if you really want me to go down on her body right now, I'm not interested in her body. I don't see one. Okay? I don't see anything. I see like 2 chopsticks. I'm not interested in Roaming sexually. I'm not interested in her from a cognitive perspective. Personally, when it comes to having an intellectual conversation with her, I didn't feel like I was being intellectually challenged. I felt like I was nursing a fucking toddler. Okay? So, I don't really think that I'm going to, I don't think there's going to be anything between me and Roaming, to be very, very clear. Honestly, I'm so pissed. I am so irritated by her perspective than the perspective of these other women, because they just are so blind to what their privilege is, and the fact that talking about it and saying, I don't support feminism, what are you doing because you don't support feminism? What were you doing before when you supported feminism? It's like, where the fuck have you been this entire fucking time? She was kind of snotty to you, Angry MGTOW. I know she was kind of snotty to me. And when I tried to stand up to her, I couldn't, because she became a baby. I'm not doing it again. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. I'm not doing another conversation with her. I'm not. You guys one of you guys want to engage Roaming Millennial? Go for it. I'm not doing it again. I've done it twice. I am not doing it again. I'm not fucking doing it again. I've had enough of these narcissistic women. I've had enough of their bullshit. I've had enough of their nonsense. The fact that they don't understand even what female privilege really is and how female privilege goes unchecked. I've had enough of this shit. Fucking had enough of it. Let me know if you agree that white women in general, don't understand what female privilege is. Let me know if you agree. Just remember, I make about 3 of these videos every day, plus bonus videos, up to 8 videos a day. So if you enjoy this video, please consider donating via my Patreon on my YouTube homepage, or by clicking on the Patreon link in the description of this video, so I can continue to make quality content for you guys. I know I don't have a pair of tits, but hey, at least I'm consistent. Also, don't forget that you can click on the notification button next to the subscribe button below any of my videos. You'll get a pop-up that says send me all notifications for this channel. Just check the box, hit save. By doing so, you will always get a notification whenever I'm live streaming or whenever I put out another video. If you've already done it, you don't have to do it again, but always make sure that you've enabled notifications to ensure that you never miss a video again. Plus, this unsubscribe button has been going around, so if you enable notifications, you don't have to worry. Even if you get unsubscribed, you'll always get a notification regardless. So definitely check out notifications. Let me know if you agree that white women in general, don't understand what female privilege is, and it's going to be up to men to check them. Literally say, you know what, you don't get it, and we're done trying to negotiate. We're done having any arguments. We're going our own way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MGTOW or death. And say it with me, say it with me, say it with me. I know you guys have been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for this moment. Come on, come on, come on. Cheers. Oh my gosh.